Erased, excluded, essential. The devastating impact of DE rollbacks on Black women in America. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pink Parachute Diaries. I'm your host, and today I'm honored to share profound insights from my recent interview with Dr. Glenda Hayden, a visionary researcher, fearless advocate, and one of the most important voices documenting the employment crisis facing Black women in America today. Dr. Hayden isn't just collecting data, she's illuminating lives that would otherwise remain in shadow. Through 15 years of meticulous research, she's created the nation's most comprehensive database tracking Black women's employment patterns. Her groundbreaking methodology combines rigorous statistical analysis with deeply human storytelling, creating a body of work that has fundamentally transformed how we understand workplace equity. When congressional committees need expert testimony on labor discrimination, they call Glenda. When major corporations genuinely want to improve their practices, they seek her counsel. Through her nonprofit Visible Women, she's created mentorship pathways that have helped over 10,000 Black women navigate hostile professional environments. What Dr. Hayden revealed in our interview isn't just troubling, it's a silent crisis unfolding before our eyes. A crisis that fundamentally challenges our assumptions about progress and equity in the American workplace. The numbers are stark and undeniable. In April 2025, while the overall economy added 177,000 jobs and the general unemployment rate held steady, Black women lost 38,000 jobs. Their unemployment rate jumped from 5.1% to 6.1%, the highest increase among any demographic group. This glaring disparity reveals a devastating truth. Economic prosperity is not being shared equally, and certain communities bear the brunt of policy shifts in ways that remain invisible to many. We're witnessing the systematic dismantling of decades of progress, Dr. Hayden explained during our conversation, her voice steady but urgent. The rollback of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that began several years ago has created a perfect storm that's disproportionately affecting Black women in the workforce. The statistics grow more alarming the deeper you look. Black women working at the federal level have declined by an estimated 33% within the last year alone, compared to just a 3.7% drop across the workforce overall. Major corporations that once championed diversity, Meta, Target, Amazon, Walmart, have scaled back or completely dismantled their DEI initiatives, often citing political pressures and legal challenges. But these aren't just statistics. Behind every percentage point are real lives, real careers, real dreams being deferred or denied, real women whose stories Dr. Hayden has documented with extraordinary care. Consider Charity Wallace, a 37-year-old biotech professional in Boston. Despite holding a PhD in molecular biology and publishing groundbreaking research on cancer therapeutics, Charity now finds herself navigating an increasingly hostile workplace environment. The D program that initially helped recruit her has been disbanded. The mentorship initiative that supported her early career has been defunded. The employee resource group that provided community has been labeled divisive and discouraged from meeting. Every day feels like starting over, Charity told Dr. Hayden, her voice breaking during their interview. I'm constantly proving my worth, constantly justifying my presence, constantly managing microaggressions that chip away at my confidence and energy. Some days I walk into meetings and can physically feel the room tighten. I've watched colleagues with half my qualifications get promoted while I'm told to be patient and wait my turn. The emotional labor required to process these daily workplace challenges is immense, yet charity persists. How? She's developed a strong support network of other Black women, friends, her mother, her sister, with whom she can openly discuss workplace challenges. Having that circle of Black women that you can really vent to is important because, again, you cannot let things like this sit, she explained. We've been silenced for too long. When I can share these experiences with women who understand, who don't question or minimize what I'm going through, it gives me the strength to face another day. Through community support and intentional mental health strategies, Charity continues to persist in her field despite the challenges. Her story highlights not just the importance of community support systems for Black professionals, but also the emotional toll of workplace inequality that remains largely unacknowledged in broader conversations about employment. Then there's Chastity Costin, a 35-year-old middle school principal, also in Boston. Like many Black women in leadership positions, Chastity faces isolation and limited opportunities for promotion and sponsorship. The concept of Black girl magic that once celebrated resilience has now created unrealistic expectations that Black women should be able to overcome any obstacle without support. We're expected to be superheroes, Chastity explained to Dr. Hayden during their 3-hour interview, to smile through adversity, to never show weakness, to somehow thrive in environments that weren't built for us and are increasingly becoming hostile toward us. I'm leading a school through unprecedented challenges while simultaneously fighting to prove I deserve to be in this position. Similar to Charity, Chastity relies heavily on community and mental health strategies to cope with workplace challenges by acknowledging the need for support rather than trying to be a superhero. She's able to maintain her leadership position while advocating for more equitable practices. As a middle school principal, Chastity has risen to a position of leadership in education, a field where Black women are underrepresented at the administrative level. Despite systemic barriers, she continues to serve as a role model for students and other educators. But as writer Tiffany Lambie warned in her analysis that Dr. Hayden shared with me, if left untouched, the number of Black women in leadership and beyond will continue to decline. This isn't just about individual careers, it's about representation, about who gets to shape our institutions, about whose voices are heard in rooms where decisions are made. It's about the future we're creating through our policies and practices today. Yet, amidst these troubling trends, there are stories of resilience and advancement. Dr. Hayden shared the story of a woman interviewed by the Urban Institute who successfully transitioned from part time fast food work to a full time data entry role after completing a graduate degree. This woman faced the systemic barriers that have led to the current 6.1% unemployment rate for Black women, including limited job opportunities and potential discrimination in hiring. Yet through educational advancement, she secured more stable employment. It gives you a sense of focus and determination, she said of her new position. Now I can build my career path. Working in the fast food industry part time while pursuing graduate studies demonstrates the determination many Black women show in advancing their careers despite obstacles. Completing a graduate degree while working and successfully transitioning to a more stable career path represents significant personal achievement. Her story provides a counterpoint to the broader negative trends, showing that individual advancement is still possible even as systemic barriers increase. But should advancement require such extraordinary effort? Should success demand superhuman resilience? The current employment crisis for Black women isn't due to a single cause, but rather what Dr. Hayden calls a perfect storm of factors. Federal policy changes, corporate DEI rollbacks, tariffs impacting small businesses that employ Black women, and the stigmatization of DEI as a concept. This multifaceted challenge requires equally multifaceted solutions from both policymakers and business leaders. As Maya Angelou once said, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. This quote resonates deeply with the experiences of Black women in today's workforce. They face defeats daily in the form of bias, discrimination, and systemic barriers, yet they refuse to be defeated. But resilience alone cannot solve structural problems. Individual determination, while admirable, cannot dismantle systems of inequality. We need collective action, institutional change, and a recommitment to the principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion, not as corporate buzzwords, but as fundamental values that shape how we build our workplaces and our economy. The poet Audre Lorde reminds us that without community, there is no liberation. The stories Dr. Hayden has documented show how crucial community support is for Black women navigating hostile work environments. But community support, while necessary, is not sufficient. We need structural change. So, what can we do? How do we address this silent crisis? First, we must acknowledge it. We must recognize that the rollback of DEI initiatives has real consequences for real people. We must understand that when we talk about unemployment statistics, we're talking about dreams deferred, talents wasted, potential unrealized. Second, we must challenge the narrative that DEI initiatives are somehow optional or peripheral to business success. The data consistently shows that diverse teams perform better, innovate more effectively, and create more value. Diversity isn't charity, it's smart business. Third, we must create sustainable support systems and advancement opportunities that don't rely solely on corporate DI programs. Mentorship networks, professional development organizations, and community based initiatives can provide crucial support when institutional structures fail. Fourth, for those in positions of power, especially white allies, we must use our privilege and influence to advocate for change. This means speaking up in meetings, challenging biased hiring and promotion practices, and creating opportunities for Black women to lead and excel. I want to leave you with an affirmation that Dr. Hayden shared with me, one that she encourages every Black woman facing workplace challenges to repeat daily. My presence is necessary. My voice is valuable. My contributions matter. This isn't just an affirmation, it's a truth that our economy and our society must recognize. When we systematically exclude Black women from opportunity, we don't just harm them, we deprive ourselves of their brilliance, their innovation, their leadership. The question before us today isn't whether we can afford to reinvest in diversity, equity, and inclusion. The question is whether we can afford not to. The data is clear. The stories are compelling. The moral imperative is undeniable. I challenge each of you to leave here today and take one concrete action to counter these trends. If you're a manager, examine your hiring and promotion practices. If you're a colleague, amplify the voices of Black women in your workplace. If you're an entrepreneur, build inclusion into your business model from day one, because a future where Black women can thrive isn't just their future, it's our collective future. And it begins with the choices we make today. Thank you.